Hi everyone, welcome to episode 67 of the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from Northern Ontario, Canada. Today is Friday, February the 18th, 2022. I would first like to start off by welcoming any new viewers who may be tuning in for the very first time. Welcome. And to all my returning viewers, welcome back. This is a podcast mostly about my knitting adventures, and there's sometimes some crochet and spinning in there as well. So I always leave detailed show notes below in the description box, so you can always check that out there. I always put direct links to anything I've talked about, so any patterns or stash enhancements like yarn, stitch markers. I've started to add those links in as well. I just find that as a podcast viewer myself, I really love those type of show notes where you can just easily click. I know I could search it myself, but you know, we tend to be lazy sometimes. So I love having direct links, so I'm trying to be on top of that with the show notes. So I always try to leave detailed show notes below. And you can also find where you can find me on the interwebs as well. You can find me on Instagram, where I am most active as Inspired Knitting Podcast. And I'm on Ravelry as X Country Girl 1986X as well. So yeah. Okay, so this week is not going to be as faux heavy as last week. 2 weeks ago, we definitely had a faux parade. It's not that way this week. But I do have some finished objects, works in progress, and a little bit of stash enhancement to share with you guys. So yeah. I don't have a beverage with me today. I've already teed myself out for the day, so no beverage, but grab yourself a warm drink or something to drink and grab your knitting and let's have some fun. So, finished objects, or no, actually I'll start with what I'm wearing. So, I think I showed this not too long ago. This is my Autumn League pullover by Alexandra Teague, I think it is. It's Two of Wands Designs. So yeah, I absolutely love this thing. I have been living in it. I think I finished it maybe about a month ago, and I had gotten around 2 weeks ago to washing and blocking it, and it just softened up so much. It blocked out. I loved it. I absolutely love it, and I've been wearing it a lot. So yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It has that sweatshirt type feel, which I love. And it also, I think you guys can see it, it's got this nice little slip stitch design, which I really love because it helps me define what's the front and the back. This sweater does have short row shaping for the back, so kind of gives you like a high-low. But still, this is very helpful. But yeah, modifications. I think the only modifications, I spoke about them more in the, not the last episode, the episode before, but the only thing I really modified was I worked the body in the round. I think the way that it's done, you're working your raglan yoke in the round, but then once you split for sleeves, you're doing the front and the back separately because it has like a split hem. I chose to omit that. I just knitted in the round, and then when I got the length of the body that I wanted, I just put either my front or my back stitches on hold for the body, did the length of the ribbing, and then when I was done, bound off and then picked up the other side. That's the only thing I did that way, because I do not really like working flat. My sleeves, they give decreases for a more fitted sleeve. I did do a couple decreases. I'm not sure how many, but I wanted kind of a bell sleeve or bishop sleeve, so I did some fast decreasing here and just did some ribbing. I love it. This thing is absolutely amazing. I knitted up in Lion Brand jeans yarn, which is 100% acrylic yarn, And it's quite laughable because I always say what a yarn snob I am to acrylic yarns, and I really am, guys. But this stuff is so soft. I had technically a sweater's quantity of it years ago, and I ended up selling it because it does tend to split, and that's one thing that drives me nuts. And I could not stand it. But I guess I got lucky with these. I don't know, this stuff still split, but as I was knitting with it, I wasn't really having a problem. But I think I want to buy another sweater's quantity in this stuff again. It's a really soft acrylic. It feels really nice to wear. I just love the thing, guys. And like I said, I've been wearing it nonstop. I think the colorway was New Jeans, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. Yes, the size, it goes up to an extra large, and that's the size that I did. And yeah, I normally wear like a 2X because I like my things a little bit bigger, sometimes a 3X. And I was slightly nervous about the sizing of this sweater because I thought, oh, I don't know if that's going to fit, but it does. And I got plenty of room in it. So it's got the right amount of positive ease. I love it. Can't say enough good things about it. So Autumn League Pullover, 2 of 1's designs, and I believe her name is Alexandra Teague, but I will have it posted down below. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's start off with the first finished object. So a beautiful little girl will be having a birthday at the end of the month, and she's my beautiful little niece. So I knit her a pair of socks for Christmas, and Mom says that she really likes them, and they're keeping her feet nice and dry and warm. So I decided I was going to knit her a sweater, but I decided to knit her some sockies for now. So I ended up modifying a pattern. So Danielle George, who most of you may know as Little Bobbins here on YouTube and Instagram, I believe. She is a beautiful pattern designer, and I love all of her stuff. She mostly has sock patterns, and they're all gorgeous. But she had released a newer pattern called the Primrose Pudding Socks. And they are they go from a 56 stitch, 64 up to 72. So I thought that it was really pretty because it gives you this kind of a scalloped edge. So you do your ribbing, and then you, I don't want to give too much away, but you knit this pretty scallop. And then here on this purl bump row, it's supposed to be like a rolled piece of knitting. So the Roll City Rollers, I think they're called, or the Jelly Roll socks, you know how they roll? That's what's supposed to be along this line here. Danielle writes her patterns beautifully. They're easy to understand, and she even has pictures. Do you think for the life of me I could figure out how to add that little roll to this section of the sock? I could not figure it out. I have been having a lot of headaches the last few weeks. It's my eyes. I need to get my eyes retested. I should be wearing glasses all the time, but I don't. But anyways, I need to get my eyes retested, and I have an appointment coming up March 7th. So hopefully that issue will be resolved, but it causes me a lot of headaches and I cannot concentrate. That's my excuse for this. I don't know, but I just couldn't figure it out. So I decided to do like a little purl bump row, something to break up, you know, the two colors. But I really love how these turned out. So these are for a toddler. And what I did was I went to Tin Can Knits. They have their Rye Socks Light, which is their fingering weight version, which is just a plain vanilla sock. They do have a worsted version as well. And I believe the Rye Socks actually have, they're not a pure vanilla sock. They actually have the garter, I think, that goes down the front. But what I did is I took the Primrose pudding socks, I followed the pattern, I just figured out the repeat for this little scallop here, and I went to the rye socks pattern, and I saw the numbers that I needed for a toddler, and I kind of just meshed the two patterns together, and it worked out beautifully. So I really love them. I decided to do contrast for the toes. I didn't want to do that for the heel because I wanted a gusset heel, so I just decided to do it in pink. So the yarns that I use for this, the hot pink is Prolana. I don't know what the colorway number is, it's just a number, but it's like a bright neon pink. And for the body of the sock, I used the leftovers from my String of Hearts socks, and it is the Northern Pearl, and it was color 14. It didn't have a name, but it's just this beautiful pink color with like black speckles in it. I love it, or charcoal speckles. So that was the first pair of socks that I did for her. And okay, I'll set them here so I don't drop them. And then I wanted to knit up another pair. I still have lots of that pink left, but I've had this skein sitting in my stash for a long time. It's a Drops Fable. Again, I think I put the colorway number on my Ravelry page for these, but this was just some Drops Fable. It is a merino wool and polyamide, I believe. So I was kind of concerned. I thought that it would have the feel of the Regia yarns, which is a little bit more toothy, and I didn't really want that for a younger kid or toddler, but this is not like that at all. It's actually really, really soft, and I just love the way that it's striped up. It's so beautiful. So for these, I did the rye sock pattern again. I did the toddler size, and I omitted the garter. I just did it plain stockinette. So I've pretty much just followed the numbers. I did a 2x2 rib for maybe 18 rows, I think, something like that. I did a heel flap and gusset and a rounded toe, which are all in the rye sock pattern, which I believe is a free pattern on Ravelry. So do check it out, because it goes from baby all the way up to a 72 stitch count. So, and like I said, I followed the fingering weight version, but there is also a worsted version as well. But yeah, there we go. So these are all washed and blocked, and they softened up even more, which is really amazing. I love that. So I'm gonna get them off to her so she can enjoy them. And if you're watching this, Laura, hi baby girl, I love you. Mwah. I love her, she's the best. Okay, so the next thing I did is another gnome. So I had no intentions of really casting on another gnome, but I visited my local yarn store. Hi Angela. And Angela had done like a Valentine's Day themed gnome, and when I saw it, I had to have one too. And she was very amazing, and she gifted me a little mini skein that she had dyed up, which is this color. So I had to make one. So this is Nora and she's my little Valentine's girl, and I loves her. So Nora, like I said, this yarn here was the Northern Pearl, and you might recognize the lighter pink. That is, again, the leftovers from the String of Hearts socks and Laura's socks there. So, and I still got quite a bit left. I haven't weighed it out yet, but I'm gonna say I might have 20 grams or something around there. So that's pretty decent. But there she is. The purple, I don't know where the purple came from. It was a mini skein from my stash that I pulled together, and she's absolutely precious. So the pattern that I used was Imagine Landscapes, Sarah Shira, and she doesn't have like her gnome pattern I followed was called Here We Gnome Again. So the pattern has like this beautiful cable design that goes down the front and goes down the body of the gnome. So I just pretty much cast it on the number of stitches. I went for the amount of rows for the hat, did the same for the body, and that's pretty much it. So I just used the numbers from that pattern to do her, and then I added a little tassel, and I pinned it to, well, I tied it down to the hat, and I just went to another one of her patterns that I own, and I just did the little nose, and I did just some French braids, and I tied them off with some little bows. And then the little heart, it's just a little knitted heart that I had found for free. It was on Ravelry, and I don't remember the name of it. It is in my Ravelry still, so I will link it below, but it was just a free pattern, so I just knit that up and put it there for her to hold. She's precious. I love her. So she was a lot of fun to make, and I was kind of thinking of doing one for Easter now too. It's an obsession. So if you follow, if you're a Nomie too, and you follow Sarah Shira, Imagine Landscapes, you'll know that there is a year of the gnome going on. And I actually looked, like she has a video on her channel, and it explains all about the knit along and what entails. So pretty much what it is, you get to knit any one of her patterns, and you can either knit one a month or just knit any one of her patterns throughout the year and then post it. She has a link to a Google, I can't remember exactly how it goes now, but what she does is at the end of every month, she posts a link that you click on, and you can put your link to your finished object from Ravelry or Instagram, and that puts you into the entry. So you can do one a month. So your goal is to, you start it, get it done. So for February, I would have started the gnome in February, finished it in February, and then when she posts that link, then I can enter it for that month. So like I said, you can either do one every month, and there'll be prizes, fantastic prizes, and there'll be special grand prizes for those who have done one for every month. Or if you just knit one or a couple of them throughout the year within that month period and enter it, there will be prizes for that as well. So I think it's so cool and pretty interesting. I was tempted to do one every month, but yeah, I just chose not to. It's just because I'm bad with commitments like that. As soon as I make it a commitment, then I don't know, sometimes it just feels like a chore and then I don't do it. So I will probably enter this one for February if I can remember to do so, but I'm just going to enjoy making them randomly, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying them. So, but if you are interested in that, do go check out Imagine Landscapes here on YouTube and on Instagram, and you can get all the proper details. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Anywho, that's all there is for finished objects today. So let's go on into works in progress. So the first one I have to share with you is in my pretty bag. This was part of a Christmas swap. I love it. It's not really Christmassy, so this has become, I think this will become like my new sock bag, hat bag. I really love it. So inside of this bag is my Musselburgh, and I have gotten some more work done on it. So the last time I was here at this marker, and I've gotten that much more done on it. So you're supposed to go to, I'm doing the adult medium, so it's supposed to go to 22 and some inches, 22 and a quarter inches, something like that. So I measured it out the other day and I am just over the halfway point, which is really fun. I'm just enjoying this one. So when I need something mindless, which has been a lot lately, this is just what I pick up. I really enjoy working on it. It's been a lot of fun. I'll just show the progress keeper because I love it. This is Kraken Maid, who is Eden. You can find her, I linked her website on the last podcast, and I messed up her Instagram name. She is Crafting with Kraken Maid, so on Instagram. So I'm sorry, Eden, but she does have a podcast, Kraken Maid podcast, here on YouTube. So go check her out. She's awesome. But she makes these wonderful stitch markers, and I absolutely love them. And I have some in Stash Enhancement today. But yeah, this hat is pretty awesome. The yarn I'm using is the Northern Pearl in the Illusion colorway. And it's just so pretty. I absolutely love it. So for me, this is a fingering weight. And I'm doing it on a 2mm needle just because I really liked the fabric that it gives. And I did start it on Magic Loop, but now I'm working it on a 16-inch just to make it a bit easier. So yeah, there's that. I can't wait for it to be finished and wear it because it's so darn pretty. But it's a lot of fun. I know the Musselburghs, they're floating around everywhere. But just in case you're new to it, you start with a pinhole cast on, you increase out, and then you just keep working. Like I said, you need to get about 22 and a quarter inches in length, and then you do your decreases, and then you'd be closing off the other end, and then it like tucks up into itself, and you get a double lined hat. It's a pretty cool pattern. Pattern is by Yuslo Latique, and it's genius. I love it. So how it's done, it's not written just for fingering. It's done by gauge. So you grab your yarn and your needles. So in my case, I grabbed the fingering and the 2mm, and you knit up a swatch. I know I don't like doing swatches, but I did. And you get your gauge, and so if you want to do DK, sport, worsted, bulky, you can do that. And then you just take your gauge, match it to what she has in the pattern, and then she has like these charts. So you can go by your gauge and follow how many how many stitches you need to increase to and all that stuff. So it's a really genius pattern. I really love it. So I highly recommend that. So there's my Musselburgh. The next thing that I'm going to share with you, I guess you could say, is a partial finished object, I guess. So I've been making a Stitch in Time blanket by Kay Jones, who is part of the Bakery Bears podcast. And pretty much what it is these beautiful squares. You do these mitered squares, do a 9 patch, and then you border them off. So I made another one. This time I chose to do like Valentine's Day themed, so I pulled out my reds and my pinks, and yeah, I love it. So I do this every time I try to remember what the yarns are, but honestly, I just pull them out of my minis. This one's a Knit Picks Hawthorne. This come from the Knitting Loft. I don't remember the colorway now. I just got the yarn, but I don't remember what it is. But it's a really beautiful red with some dark speckles in it. This one here is from the Northern Pearl. It was in Nora's hat. There's the pink from the Northern Pearl, also in Nora, the body of Nora. This one here is a Polka Dot Creek. I think that one's called Down the Chimney. So it's got some reds and some dark speckles in it. Ravenwood Fiber Co. Polka Dot Creek. Pretty sure this is a Polka Dot Creek. This one here is Hell's Kitchen, which is Ancient Fiber Arts. Pretty sure. But yeah, I just pulled out the reds and the pinks to do like a Valentine's Day themed square. And there she is. These have been a lot of fun to do. They do take a bit of time to do because I chose to do it in fingering weight. That's what the pattern is written for. You don't have to do that. You could use Sport Decay worsted. You could use anything that you wanted. You could hold fingering double. It's your blanket. You can do what you want. But the pattern is written for fingering. It's just a beautiful blanket. So I've already showed these, but I'll just quickly show them. That was the first square I made. And there's another one. They're just so much fun. They're a great way. I really love working with mini skeins because you get to play with so much color, and they're just, I love mini skeins. But it's not just mini skeins, it's also your scraps as well. They're a great way to use up your scraps, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I cannot wait to have this blanket finished because I think it'll be just awesome to put on my couch and wrap up in. So like I said, they're done with mitered squares, so you do not have to seam every single square together. Once you're done one, you're picking up stitches to do the next one and so on. And you do get a lot of ends, as you see. These are all woven in. I do the Weave and Steven. Amazing. He has a tutorial here on YouTube on how to do that. So I would highly recommend checking it out. I have a love-hate relationship with it because sometimes I either pull too tight or I'm not pulling tight enough. So it leaves my stitches looking pretty loose. There is a method to it. It's just getting it down. For projects like this, I don't have a problem with it. My jig shawl, which I'm going to show in a minute, I've been doing it on that. I don't have a problem with it. But I find if I'm knitting socks, I do not really like doing it because you can really see where I've done it. You're not seeing the yarn that I'm weaving in, but you can see where my stitches have gone a little funky. So it is what it is. There's different ways of weaving in your ends, but for this, I've been using the Weave and Steven and it's been working. So I really like that. And last night I made up a new little mitered square. So this will be the first of 9 for my next one. So this here, I'm going to do like a March. This will be a March square. I'm trying to get 2 squares a month done. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. But for March, I decided to pull together some St. Patty's Day colors. So I'm pulling out the greens and the golds. So I don't know if these are all gonna go in, but I just went into my mini stash and I pulled out some colors that I could choose from. So I'm excited about this. This looks really pretty. So we'll see how that one comes together. This is one of those projects that I have also been gravitating towards a lot in the last couple weeks because I can't seem to concentrate. I've been dealing with the headaches and that. So it's something that is simple enough that you don't have to look at a pattern or anything. You just go with it. It's just plain knitting, garter. Super simple, so it's nothing that you really have to think about. So I've been working on it quite a bit, and I really like that. So that's one of those projects that I've been gravitating towards a lot. So anyways, That is my Stitching Time by Kay Jones. Okay, so the next thing I have to share with you is in my beautiful, I think this is one of my most favorite bags, my Knit Revert with my unicorn kitties. This was part of a Yarnable box. And the beast that has been living within it, it's had it's in and out of my whip basket for a while, and it came out a couple weeks ago, and I'm happy to say that it's almost finished. So let me get this untangled. That way I can show it to you guys. All right. So this is my Jig Shawl by Stephen West. And the last time I shared this beast with you guys, I think I was somewhere around here because I was doing the point, I think. Can't quite remember, it's a little hard to share. But the point is now done, it's all completed. And I have now started working on the second wing. So I'm working out, and I put the gray section on, I put this section, I worked on that yesterday, and now I'm doing this one, which is section 19, and there's 22 sections, so I only got 3 more to go, which there will be, I've already finished my decreases for this section, so there will be 2 little triangle shapes that'll go here, and then the final little tip to finish off this wing, and it's done. Besides the border, it does have an I-cord border that goes around the whole thing. I am so excited, you guys. It is massive and it is gorgeous. Here's the other wing on it. That's what this end looks like. I just love it. It's going to be so amazing when it blocks. It's all squishy garter. And once you put that border on, it'll be amazing. So this one here, I chose to knit All Cozy Posy Yarn Co. She's one of my favorite yarn dyers. I love the dark moody colors, and yeah, it's gorgeous. Unfortunately, I haven't looked at the Ravelry page for it, but I don't think I have the names for all the colors, and I cannot remember, guys, because I lost some of the tags, and because this project moved from one bag to another, somehow I lost some of the tags, so I couldn't even begin to tell you what some of these colors are, but they are all Cozy Posy Yarn Co. And the way that the pattern is written, I think it is for 7 skeins of yarn. The way that Stephen has you doing it is you're kind of marling. So you would take 2 colors and put them together and knit your sections. I decided that I wanted to hold the fingering double, which is technically what the shawl is, but I wanted to hold the same color together to really make those colors pop out. So that's what I did, and I really love it. So I'm not really following the color placement of the pattern. I'm just looking at it and then adding in the colors as I go. And so far, I love it. It's worked out beautifully. So that's my jig shawl. As I said, there's like the ends, but I'm doing the weave and Stephen. So once I wash it, I will trim those ends off, but it's massive and it's wonderful. Last night I had my feet up and I was knitting on it, and I was using it as a blanket, which was keeping my legs nice and toasty. So yeah, it's just a wonderful shawl. So I would highly recommend it. It is done obviously in sections, so that makes it a lot of fun. It keeps the interest going and you can play with your colors. Another great scrap buster too. You don't have to have 7 full skeins. You can bust your stash. My best friend Shelby, that's what she's doing right now. She's knitting one of these and she's stash busting her yarn, so it's a great stash buster too. I love it. And I believe hers is going to be technically fingering held double as a DK. I think hers might turn out to be a worsted or maybe a little heavier, which makes it even bigger and squishier, so you can do anything you want. But it's a gorgeous pattern. Stephen does have a tassel on the main point of it. If I have enough yarn, and I think I will probably do the same. But it's almost done. I was trying to push to have it done for this podcast, but just didn't happen. I will just quickly go through the colors. I believe that might be flamingo, but I don't really know. I got a brown. I believe this one might be Witchy Woman, if I remember correctly. I really love this one. And you are holding a mohair with one of your colors, so I chose to hold it with this one. The mohair is the only thing in this shawl that is not Cozy Posy. It is Handmaiden, and I don't know the colorway, it's just a chocolate brown. So the way that Stephen has the pattern written up, this will be, these two would be your border. And I definitely have enough yarn to do it, but I think what I'm going to do instead is this one here, and I'm just going to hold it double without mohair. I don't think I want to do an I-cord border with mohair. So yeah. Again, Cozy Posy, I just don't remember the name. This one here is Hunter's Moon, which is gray and gold. I really love this one. And that one. And the last one, I think it's called Toasted Marshmallow. Very pretty. So those are my colors. Definitely check out Cozy Posy on Instagram. She has one of the most beautiful Instagrams. I love her stuff. I just love her. So that is my jig shawl by Stephen West. And once this monster is completed, it will actually be the first Stephen West shawl that I've actually completed. So that's fun. I've started a couple in the past, but never finished them. Some of his shawls tend to be a little on the larger size, but that's just an excuse because I get distracted easily. But yeah, I just love his stuff. And one of the things that have always gotten me is I don't really like bright that much. I do have bright stuff. I wear pink and stuff like that, but a lot of his stuff are in very bright colors, neon colors. Very wild and crazy, which is awesome. But always look at the pattern pages and look at other people's projects. They do them in neutrals and they really bring the color down, and it just totally changes the look of the pattern altogether. So that was one of the things for me. The picture of his shawl is pretty. It's gorgeous actually, but I wouldn't wear it. It's not my colors. But then I saw somebody else, Jamie from Cozy Up Knits, her pink one. I would love to do a pink one. It's absolutely amazing. So always look at the pattern pages on Ravelry and check them out and get inspiration for colors, and it will totally change your mind. So I love it. Jig shawl, Stephen West. I have a couple other Stephen West patterns that I would like to do. The Starflake is one of them, and also a Vertices Unite. I would love to do one of those as well. So the Vertices is pretty similar to this idea where you're doing sections, what I would call modular sections, but it's more of a, I don't know what they call the shape of it, but it's not as huge as this one, but it's very beautiful. So that's another one I would like to maybe attempt soon. I don't know. Okay, so I have one more work in progress to share with you guys today. So I have been watching Maddie and Kristen of the We Share Needles podcast, and they started a knit along in January. I think it was like the 1st of January, and it's the Shalalalong. And you start, the goal of that is to start a shawl in the new year and finish it by March 12th. And I believe there are prizes. I'm not quite sure. I believe there is. But they are hosting it on Instagram and Ravelry. So go check out their podcast and their channel. They are We Share Needles podcast on YouTube and We Share Needles on Instagram. So you can find the details there. But I kept hearing about it, and I was like, oh, like I had the MCAL going and stuff like that. Well, now that that's off my needles, I decided to cast it on, a new shawl on. And if you follow me on Instagram, I kind of already showed the starting of it. So I ended up getting a beautiful mini skein set from Barnyard Knits. Barnyard Knits, sorry, I'm eating mohair now. Barnyard Knits is one of my favorite yarn dyers as well. I got a lot of favorites. But she came out with this beautiful mini set. It was the Succulent Mini Set. So you get 10 mini skeins on her. I got the sock fingering, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and they are 92 yards each. So you got 10 mini skeins, so it's total 920 yards. And I absolutely fell in love with the set. So I bought it, had no idea what I was going to do with it. And it's been sitting there, and I kept thinking, what can I do with it? So I was watching a new to me podcast. I think it's called the Southern Knits Podcast. She's in Michigan. She's originally from Alabama, though. I'm pretty sure it's the Southern Knits Podcast. But I was watching her podcast, and she did a beautiful Vertices Unite too. She did 2 of them, but she did one in these beautiful pale pinks and soft browns. It was so beautiful. But she also did a Free Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, and I think she used mini skeins for hers, and I was like, that is such a good idea. So Maddie had made one out of one of her events too, but she did the Find Your Fade, which is a larger shawl. The Free Your Fade is I think if you were to follow you got 3 different colors that Andrea uses in the pattern. You're not using the full skeins, but she uses 3 different colors. It's a smaller shawl. So I had 920 yards in total for my mini skeins. So I thought I can make this work. So I'm following the colors the way that they were given. So this was the first color, which is like this soft, it almost looks icy blue. Sometimes it looks purple, but I think it's more of an icy blue, and it's got pink in it. And then it fades into this one here, which I think is one of my favorites. This pretty green with purple in it. And then it goes into this one, the greens and the oranges. And then the purple. And now we're into this beautiful peachy color. And I'm just going to turn it so you can see all those beautiful colors in there. So I have been working on this thing a lot. This has been one of my main projects between my jigsaw and this one. I have been working a lot on it, and oh guys, just look at that. It's awesome. Okay, so this one is the Free Your Fade by Andrew Mowry, and it's like an asymmetrical shawl. Super simple. It's just garter, and then you have these pretty eyelet rows. And it's very easy to modify. So like I said, Andrea's pattern gives you, uses like 3 colors. But like she said, you can use as many colors as you want. And you can do your fading like within the garter sections here. So not all of my fade sections are the total repeat of the fade, just because down here you're obviously getting a little bit more of your color, like your 20 gram mini skein out of a bigger section, but as the shawl grows, you're getting like a smaller section, which is absolutely fine, just by a bit. So some of my color sections, like the fading sequence, shall we say, they're not going to be all the same, and that's fine with me. I don't really care about that. But I'm enjoying this so much. It's a really simple pattern. It's nothing that you really have to concentrate on. I don't even have to look at the pattern anymore because I just count my garter ridges, and then I know when to put in another eye hole. So yeah, it's really, really simple. It's easy to memorize, and then I just kind of gauge my yarn. So if I see my my mini skein is getting down, like this is what I have left of the peach, so I will soon, I think I will be soon starting to fade in my next color, just to have a few rows of fade in between. So my next color that will be going in is this beautiful green. So that will be the next one. And then the way that the mini skeins came, I hope it won't be too hard to see, but I believe, yes, okay, I had to think for a minute. It would go like that. So I would go into this one next, this one, that one, and then there's one more that I had already caked up. It would finish with this. So I noticed yesterday, because I wanted to check the pictures of the skein set on Instagram or on the internet, just to make sure that I was getting them in the correct order. Not that it matters, you can do whatever you want, but I noticed that this last color is it's showing up darker on the screen, and I know with hand-dyed yarn, I know they're not all going to be the same, but it showed up a little darker, so it had more of these coppery colors in it, I guess. But that's fine, because I have a feeling I got 4 more, right, 4 more colors now. 5 more, I'm halfway. I got 5 more colors to put in, so that's going to make this shawl a fair size. If I was to follow the yardage requirements for the shawl though, for the size that Andrea did, I am 100 yards short. So I would have to have at least another color section in. So here's my plan. Depending on how much more this grows, once I put in the 5 skeins, I might be adding in something else. So I just wanted to keep it with the mini skein set. However, I do like my shawls a little bit on the bigger side, and I would be cutting this one short. So the same time that I ordered this mini skein set, I had ordered this beautiful skein. This is also Barnyard Knits, and this one is in her Forest Floor colorway. And I think that it would work beautifully with all these colors. I think it would just go together so well. So I might do that. I've been going back and forth, but it's already got the greens. It's already got, you know, it would be pulling those colors out from the mini skein set. This one is on her sock. fingering base as well, so it's the same as the mini skeins, and the colorway is called Into the Forest. It's just so beautiful. So I'm thinking that once I put all my mini skeins in, that I'm going to do one more section. So one more, I'll fade into this, do the eye holes and do the garter. This shawl does have like a picot bind off, so I think I would feel safer breaking into this skein to make sure that I don't run out of yarn to do that bind off. So it would be adding another section or so to the shawl and ensuring that I do have enough yarn to do the bind off, because I would not want to be binding off and run out of yarn. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And it's still barnyard knit, so I will be pleased with that. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun with this, and it's one of those things that is really addicting, because it's like stripes. You get one section done and you just want to fade into the next and do the next one and then do another. So it's a really, really fun shawl. And again, mini skeins, I love them. They're awesome. You get to play with all the colors. And on this one here, this is one of my new stash acquisitions. I had made an order with Eden of Kraken Made, and this one was actually a little gift that she threw in. Isn't it beautiful? It's like these pearls with a little diamond. I love it, and I thought it looked so beautiful on here. Thank you, Eden. I love it. So yeah, that's my Free Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. And I would love to do a Find Your Fade as well, but one thing at a time. I must admit that I have been, just before the new year, I think I talked about it, I've been working to pull old whips out and try to get things finished, not cast on, you know, so frequently. Obviously I'm casting on new things, but just trying to be more mindful of, you know, what I'm working on. But I'm going to admit, the past couple weeks, those old habits were sneaking back in of, I want to do all the shawls right now. I want to do another sweater. And I actually did cast on a Whitmore, which I've been wanting a Whitmore for a very long time. And I casted it on, and I think I got through 15 rows of the yoke, which is very simple lace. But I chose to use a Holsgarn alpaca that I have. And if you have used Holsgarn before, you know it runs more on the thinner side. Now they do say that it plumps up when you wash it. Now I have their Super Soft, which is their 100% wool base. I have swatched with it before and washed it, and it does plump, but not that much. So anyways, needless to say, the Whitmore is knit with a fingering and a lace, which creates like a DK. So I did get gauge, I did swatch. I was holding the alpaca double because I didn't want to hold mohair, and I did get gauge. I had to go down in needle size, but as I was knitting this thing up, it looked extremely see-through. And I know obviously where your lace section is, it is going to be see-through, but I'm talking like on the main stockinette portion of the yoke, it was looking pretty see-through. And I was like, oh, but if I wash it, you know, it'll probably be okay. But then it just got the better of me, and I was like, I'm not knitting a whole sweater and then not wear it because, you know, because I don't like that. So I decided to rip it back. I have not cast it on, recast it on yet. I just decided that I was going to put my sweater knitting on hold for right this moment and try to get some old whips done first. So we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, that's been my knitting for the past 2 weeks. So that's all there is for works in progress. So now I'm going to go on into a little bit of stash enhancement. There isn't that much, but I've been talking about Eden, and I saw that she had these beautiful, she's got a lot of beautiful stitch markers, but this one in particular, when I saw it, I just had to have it. So I got this beautiful ball that has a turtle in it. I hope you guys can see the turtle. You see him in there? How cute is that? It's just adorable. I don't know how you do that, Eden, but it is gorgeous. And I just had to have them. So I got the option for the lobster clasp, so it'll be like a progress keeper. And then I also got another progress style one, and it's like a little daisy. So pretty. I absolutely love it. So those are by Eden of the Kraken Maid. And the turtle one, she actually has a couple color options for the turtle. So I think there was a blue one, the green one, a pink, and maybe a purple option as well. But you really need to check out her website. Her stitch markers are just amazing. And I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. Somebody said she might be gonna dye yarn. I'm excited for that, so that will be interesting. And it came in this beautiful satin bag. I love it. So thank you, Eden. And the last thing I have to share with you is I decided to give up my Yarnable subscription. Not because I don't like it. I really love it. Already regretting giving it up. But I wanted to try to support Canadian dyers. So I saw that, I forgot her name, but Lichen and Lace, she's from Sackville, New Brunswick. I've always loved her yarn, and she's doing a year-long socks subscription, which that was out of my price range because you pay for the whole year. But then she also is doing the sock train, so that one is a monthly sock subscription. So I chose to get one skein of fingering. I don't remember if there's other options, like if you can get 2 skeins, or I'm not quite sure how that works, but I get one skein of fingering. And if for some reason you need to skip a month, there is that option in your subscriptions to do so. So what I'm about to show you is January shipment. There won't be one for February because I needed to skip that month. I needed to skip February. So, but I will be doing it for March. So I really love that that option is available. But what you get is one skein of fingering weight yarn, which is specially dyed. I believe it is a mystery. And you get a little goodie. So this month, January's goodie was a Lindor chocolate. It was gone like right away. It just evaporated. But here's January's. And it is this beautiful pink color. And it's got some hot pink and almost purple speckles. Very beautiful. And as you can see, there's her label, Lichen and Lace. And this is her 80-20 sock, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 365 yards per 100 grams. And there's the name of it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'll probably mess it up. But yeah. So that was January shipment. Absolutely beautiful. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I'm sure I will find something. So absolutely recommend the subscription if you're interested. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys this week. So yeah, I don't really have any dream knitting. I'm trying not to have dream knitting because, like I said, I've been in a want to cast on new things, but it's just a lot of shawls. I've been seeing a lot of shawl patterns come out lately. One that came out and I did buy it is the Golden Fern, which is a new brioche pattern by Wool and Pine Designs. So gorgeous. They released some pictures today of their test knitters projects. So beautiful, so many color options. It's a 2-color fingering weight shawl, but there is the option to add a 3rd color at the bottom. So pretty. I read through the pattern. It is a basic brioche, and I did pick out 2 skeins that I thought would look really pretty, and I attempted to cast it on. I won't lie, I attempted to cast it on, and my mind, I just can't concentrate on brioche right now. For the life of me, I couldn't get it. I haven't done it in a little while, but as soon as I started, it was coming back to me, but I kept messing up. So the yarn is in a project bag. It's sitting there for future consideration, but right now I just can't concentrate on it. So I'm doing the smart thing and just setting it aside, but that's a really good one too. I recommend that you check it out. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop babbling and let you guys go. So remember, show notes can be found down below, and I hope you guys have a great week. I hope that you're enjoying winter. It's actually mild. It got mild here, so it's not been like -40s, so I'm pretty excited. The days are starting to get longer, which is making me super excited because it tells me that spring is just around the corner. So I cannot wait for that because I want to take my coffee outside with my knitting and just sit outside with Mother Nature again. I really miss that. So yeah, but I hope you guys are enjoying. Happy knitting, and until next time, stay safe. Bye everyone.